10 years later, Chapter 3. It was getting closer to the day of the WWE draft. The current champion was a guy named Link. He didn't look like much. There was lots of mystery behind him. Some say he was a legendary hero that fought evil wherever he went. Some say that the name Link was a title passed from generations of fathers and sons. He had tons of fans. Even some of the older wrestlers were impressed with him when he was starting his career as a WWE wrestler. He didn't talk much, but he was expressive. He was waiting backstage to come out whenever that was supposed to be. Out of the 10 years he has wrestled, this was his 8th time winning the title champion belt. He was interested in some of the newcomers that were in this year's draft. For the draft, if you lost or won, you would still get into Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. For now, Link was on Monday Night Raw. He heard someone entering from one of the dressing rooms. It was the announcers. "Hey Link, you ready for this year?" Link nodded. "Just remember that you won all 10 years. Those 2 years never existed." Link shook his head. "I'm pretty sure those 2 years of me losing existed. Everyone watches, you know." The announcer's eyes pleaded with him. "I know. I'm just trying to make you look good for the fans." Link laughed. "I do look good. They already love me." The stadium was electric with energy from the crowd. The announcer entered from stage right and went to stage center. "Welcome everybody to drafting day," the crowd cheered. "You know what's happening next? He's here. He's your 10th time Universal WWE Champion of all time, the legend, the hero of the wild, Link." The crowd erupted as Link came out. He was riding a brown horse. He wore a blue tunic, brown pants, a sword across his back as well as a shield, and pouch on his side. He also wore knee-high boots, chainmail armor, a leather belt, and arm-length gloves. He stopped center stage. He got off the horse and faced the crowd. Music played as he entered. He reached back and pulled the Master Sword. Phoenix was back on her perch in the rafters. The sword appeared to be an ordinary sword until the light hit it. It was in full view from where she was. The hilt was purple. It had wings on either side of it. The blade glowed blue. It looked like it was glowing brighter, like it was reacting to the crowd and their energy. Was that possible for a sword to do that? Link did a few poses with the sword, slashing it through the air. Then he swiped it across his body at an upper angle. A laser came out of the blade. It hit something in the ceiling. They were the pyrotechnics. They began to go off. He snapped his fingers as lightning surrounded the sword. He snapped them again, causing the lightning to vanish. The announcer appeared next to him. "So, Link, how does it feel to be back in the ring again?" Link smiled. "That's great. You're probably going to be bored here as you beat everyone who faces you. I mean, you've been champion for 10 years. Link shook his head. "Thank you, Hamich, but I only lost twice in those 10 years. Hamich laughed. Of course, but those 2 years are behind you. You've got some new challengers today." He turned to the crowd. "Before we start the draft, let's put the sword back into the stone." There was a rumbling sound. A set of stairs came out of the stage. They went almost to the ceiling. At the top of the stairs was a pedestal at the top. This was the original pedestal that the sword was pulled. Link made his way to the top. When he got to the top, he turned to face the pedestal. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer continued. It was Snoop still. "As soon as he puts that sword in that pedestal, any one of these wrestlers have the chance to win it for themselves." Link put the sword atop the pedestal. "Let the WWE draft begin." One of the new wrestlers was center stage. He had a rectangular shield on his back and a spear, and he wore a toga. He threw the spear. The crowd went wild as it hit one of the sides of the ring. He walked over to it and pulled it out. He went back to center stage. "Everybody!" There was a pause as the crowd erupted into either cheers or boos. He waited. "Guess I get to start the night. However, I have a special request." He turned and faced stage left. "Vindicator." The crowd waited. A giant of a man about 7 feet tall stepped out. He was a foot taller than Spartan. He wore a mask that obscured his face. He was shirtless with tight leather pants. To this day, no one knew what the mask was supposed to be. Some kind of creature from the back rooms? Something from the strange imagination of a deranged person? He had thick shoulder pads which had some purple around them. Spartan wasn't fazed. Instead, he turned to the crowd. "Remember when I faced him in Fort Wayne?" The crowd cheered. He turned to face the man known as Vindicator. "This guy called his dad during a match, remember that?" Vindicator nodded. "I wasn't ready to face you yet. You seemed beneath me at the time. Didn't want to waste my energy on a newbie like you. Spartan pretended to cry. Oh, help me, Daddy. Wow, can you come get me? I can't take a drop kick to the face. Vindicator took the mic. Are you guys gonna listen to this? Spartan's fans began chanting, "This is Spartan, this is Spartan," to drown him out. You were down after I hit you with that. So, he scanned the stands. Looks like your dad won't be able to get you out of this one, so how about you face me here and now in Ohio? The fans chanted his name again. Vindicator took the mic. I accept, but only on one condition. I will make sure your fans will be shouting my name instead of yours. You may not remember who I am, but as soon as I win this, my face will put the fear of God into you. Spartan laughed. We'll see about that. The two entered the ring. The bell rang thrice, and Vindicator made the first move. He hit Spartan with a right hook. Spartan blocked, landing a super kick to his chest. The bigger man went flying and hit the walls of the ring. What was this? Was this a trick to let Spartan's guard down? That was the surprising thing. Spartan learned early on not to underestimate Vindicator's strength. Spartan climbed the sides of the wall. When he got to the top, he let go, landing on Vindicator. Vindicator took the hit and super kicked Spartan into the wall. That one looked like it put him out. He went over to him, getting ready for the final blow. Spartan came up with a close line with his arm. That knocked Vindicator to the ground. Spartan then executed an eagle claw, his hand forming the shape of a claw. He made several jabs to his ribs. It went from one move to the next. He pinned Vindicator to the ground. The crowd began to count. 3, 2. Vindicator kicked out of the pin. He got up and threw Spartan into one of the turnbuckles of the ring. He didn't let up. He pinned him to the side of the ring. Spartan kicked out with his legs. The man wasn't letting up. Olivia was watching from the rafters. She remembered seeing Spartan at a few plays, one in which he played a dead person, the other one he played a Spartan, and an extra in a handful of other ones. What a surprise. In her later years, she saw him at amateur WWE events. He used Taekwondo, Judo, and Muay Thai to defeat most of the opponents. The initial reaction of the crowd said it best. She happened to be a bit of a fan herself. Had he met his match? About 12 minutes have already passed. Down in the ring, Spartan was running out of strength. Vindicator would pin Spartan, and Spartan would kick out of them. Vindicator had had enough. He picked Spartan up like a kitten. He locked both his legs and arms to his body and proceeded to pull back and throw him out of the ring. His head hit the ground on the other side. His body went still. Back up in the rafters, Olivia looked on. Spartan was still breathing, but it looked like he wasn't going to be coming back from that for a while. The crowd began the 10 countdown. The bell rang and Vindicator was declared the winner. After a few minutes, Spartan woke up. The crowd cheered/booed again. Looks like you took a rough fall, Vindicator taunted. A couple officials had helped Spartan to the stage. You know how I said that my face would put the fear of God into you? Yeah, it's a hollow threat. Spartan rolled his eyes at Vindicator. So you gonna show me who's under that mask? Vindicator shook his head. I knew you would be here, Spartan. I was mad when you took my spot in those plays. Spartan looked perplexed by this. I got those because they liked how I performed. You know, you could just try again next year. Who was this guy anyway? Spartan thought. What does that have to do with you being here at the WWE draft? Vindicator smiled. I'm gonna make you suffer as much as possible. Spartan wasn't scared. He was annoyed more than anything. Nice try. That doesn't mean I'm out of the draft yet, Spartan said. Vindicator laughed. I am going to take everything from you. As soon as we get our results from the draft, I am going to make you feel how I felt. I will take that title belt from you. I am tired of being last place. Spartan put his hands up. Look, man, I don't know who you are or what I did to make you this mad, but I don't want to start anything. Vindicator shook his head. I can't believe you forgot all about me. Wherever you end up, I'll make you wish you hadn't forgotten me. With that, he walked off the stage, leaving both Spartan and the fans confused. There was a half-hour break. People talked among each other. A girl dressed as an artist spotted the now-dressed Olivia in the rafters. She had bright red hair and teal glasses. Cool fit. Who are you? The outfit was a sight to behold. The wings were silver. They had red around the edges. The body of the phoenix was silver with gold accents. The wings had sparkles dotted throughout them. I am Phoenix. I always come back. Cool, the girl said. She touched one of her wings. They felt real, each of the feathers. I'm the animator. Hope I get to face you later. When I defeat you, I'ma make sure that my next drawings depict me defeating you. She smiled. Okay, Phoenix said. The girl disappeared. How strange. The thing about the wings was that they actually worked. Duncan designed the outfit himself after lots of trials and errors. It was a two-person project, Olivia showing him different types of birds, and Duncan drawing and sketching the wings of each of the birds. This was a 5-year project. It was after one of their training sessions. So, I believe that you're going to win the women's championship. Brute strength doesn't always win the day. Sometimes you gotta think smarter. That's why I taught you jujitsu and improved your skills with Muay Thai. That's why I came up with a costume for you. The Phoenix, the immortal bird that comes back from the ashes. He uncovered a massive portrait of her in the costume. It looks really good, she said. It truly did. The first drawing was mostly orange. Obviously, color changes were made. The mask of the Phoenix was high-tech. Whatever Duncan put in the mask, it gave her excellent vision. Gives you eagle vision, Duncan said when she put it on. The wing pack, the system to work the wings, was so well hidden within the costume that if you saw it in real life, you might question if it was real. When he was done, he exclaimed, "My best work of art. Now go and kick some ass." Olivia laughed. Now she was here waiting to make her entrance. It was time to continue the event. There was something strange happening in the ring. There was a girl standing alone in the middle of it. She pulled a bag seemingly from nowhere. She opened the bag. It was a good-sized bag. It was Animator, the girl who spotted her up here. That was the interesting part. How did she even get up here? She began to set cans of paint out. People watched, confused and curious at what she was doing. She started at one end of the ring. She began to paint. "What are you doing?" one of the spectators shouted. "This isn't art class, this is WWE," another person shouted. She must be new as well, Olivia thought. The painting was of a massive peacock flaunting its colorful feathers. A few more strokes and the girl was finished. She forgot to add the eye. Where the eye should have been was a blank spot, big enough for a person to stand. Satisfied with her work, she packed her stuff and nimbly climbed the ropes. The announcer and the referees came out. "Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to see?" The announcer stopped. "Looks like someone left a work of art in the middle of the ring. What is the meaning of this? I don't know about you, but I'm just as curious as you are. We have a major event ready for you guys, so let's introduce our first women's match of the night." Everyone began to cheer. "She's cold. She'll leave you out there in the snow. She's 189 pounds of beatdown. It's Black Ice Blizzard." A girl wearing a ninja gi and white gloves came out. The outfit was ice blue with white trimming. She wore a mask to match. Her poofy hair was the only thing not covered. The fans cheered. She took center stage. As she went, snow fell behind her. "Hello, all. It's ice to be here with you all today." The fans cheered, some groaning at the joke. "Don't worry, I'm not here to play any games." She pointed to the peacock. "There are a lot of things that run through my veins. But today, I'm here to get that special spot and win it all. Ohio." The stadium erupted in response. "How about you join me as I leave these wannabes out in the cold as I win the women's champion?" The crowd cheered as she entered the ring. The announcer spoke. And now her competitor is an artist wanting to make a name for herself. Coming in at 135 pounds, here's Animator. There she was. She had her hair pulled back in a braid. Her outfit was simple. She wore an apron covered in paint spots, faded jeans, and painter's gloves. "What do you think?" She gestured to the fans. "I made it not just for you guys, but as a background for this match. Isn't it beautiful?" Something wasn't right with Animator. She looked around at the fans. Her eyes always seemed to be searching and scanning for something. Perhaps it was to catch the details she missed. "I see this ring as my canvas." She turned to Black Ice Blizzard. "Yeah? What do you mean?" "Wherever I go, I see all sorts of beauty. Nature, the Great Dome." She paused. "Oh yes, that dome would be a fantastic background for my next work of art. It's called..." She thought for a bit. "How about Out with the Cold and In with Me winning the women's championship? Yes, that's the new title of my next piece." "I have no time for little kids like you," Blizzard said coldly. "Artist or not, you better be worth my time." The two girls entered the ring. The bell rang and the match began. Blizzard was the first to strike. She went for a right hook jab to Animator's ribcage. It connected, sending Animator flying. Animator retaliated with a super kick. Blizzard blocked and grabbed her foot. Animator yanked it free and began to climb the ropes. She got up to the top. She cannonballed into Blizzard, knocking her to the ground. Animator took no time and hooked her leg around Blizzard's. Blizzard lifted her hips off of the ground. She kicked her foot free of the hook and quickly rolled to the side, tossing Animator away. Animator bounced off one of the sides of the ring. She recovered fast, diving in to grab her around the waist. Blizzard rolled out of the way. Blizzard stood up. Animator followed, clotheslining her, sending her across the ring. In quick succession, Animator climbed to the third rope and pushed off with her legs. She landed on Blizzard's ribcage, both stunning and knocking the wind out of her with a cannonball. She did 2 powerful knee strikes to her face. Animator could sense her opponent was tiring. Animator smiled. Blizzard's head was in the spot where the eye should be. "Perfect," she said as she went for the pin. 1, 2, 3. The fans counted. The bell rang. "And the winner of the first women's match of the night, it's Animator." Animator took a bow. The announcer was about to declare her the winner when there was some kind of commotion. Vindicator came out of nowhere. "You're not going anywhere." What the heck? She noticed Spartan heading up into the stands. Vindicator jumped several rows and grabbed him. "What is going on? This has never happened in WWE history. What is Vindicator going to do next?" The announcer looked shocked. Vindicator went down the rows. He threw Spartan into the ring. Phoenix perched herself on the top rope. Animator flattened herself against one of the corners. Vindicator jumped in after. Phoenix noticed that Spartan was holding his right side near his ribs. Vindicator brandished a club. It was thick. "I kept my word, Juan." A look of surprise flickered across Spartan's face. "Howdy, yo." He didn't give him any time to finish that sentence. He slammed him to the floor. "Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry." Spartan swore in Spanish. "I don't know what you're talking about." He blocked the first hits from the club. The crowd began to boo. "What the hell? This guy's mad," someone said. Spartan tried moving out of his way, but the rage of Vindicator prevented him from doing so. He slammed him into the mat several times. Then he took the club and hit the spot on his ribs several times. "I shall break your Spartan spirit. This is for taking everything away from me." Phoenix couldn't stand by and watch this continue. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw a glint of silver. It was the Warden, the Enforcer's son. The angry face looked massive in the light. He jumped into the ring. Phoenix joined him. Vindicator sized up his new opponents. "You must be your dad's replacement. What's your name again?" The Warden looked him dead in the eyes. "That's the Warden to you." Vindicator smiled. "Great. 2 more playthings to get in my way. I'll deal with both of you." Medics came by to take Spartan away. The announcer took the center stage. Snoop was gone, replaced by a different announcer. For now, he would finish out the rest of the draft. Well, why don't you look at that? More surprises keep happening tonight. It's a 2v. One match happening right now. It's Phoenix and the Warden versus Vindicator. Phoenix looked over to see Link in the stands clapping for them. The bell rang. The Warden made the first move. He shoulder-tackled Vindicator. This did nothing, so he charge-tackled him. Vindicator bounced off of one of the ropes. The Warden went at him again. Another successful attack. Phoenix looked for any signs of weakness from Vindicator. He was limping on his left leg. "Gotcha." She went for the back of his leg. Grabbing it, she positioned his leg so that it was now in front of him. He kind of looked like a crane. She proceeded to apply pressure to his knee. She pulled more on his leg, hyperextending it. With the Warden's help, they got him to the ground. It took them a few minutes. They would almost have him pinned, then Vindicator would kick out of the pins. Phoenix was able to cannonball all of her body weight onto his knee. Finally, Vindicator said, "I submit! I submit!" The referee began to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, submission.